5. And then a minute left to play. Starts to Tavion Banks for the alley-oop. 15 for Banks off the bench. And this Drake wins the battle. 67-57. Bulldogs shot 54%, hit 5 of their 10 threes, held Missouri to 33%. Drake advances past the first round for the first time since 1971, and they do it under first-year coach Ben McCollum, who won 4 Division II national titles at his alma mater, Northwest Missouri State, before taking over at Drake.
Great news for number 1 seeded Duke. Their fabulous freshman Cooper Flagg is ready to return to play, beginning with the Blue Devils' first-round game Friday afternoon against number 16 Mount St. Mary's. Flagg had missed the final 2 games of the ACC tournament. He had a sprained ankle. So Cooper Flagg's return will be a welcome sight for sure for the Blue Devils. The freshman leads Duke in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals per game this season. Flagg is one of only 2 Division I players to lead his team in all 5 categories. He would be the first player in Duke history to accomplish that feat.
Curry tries to run through a long 3 from the Duke campus.
It was a lot of fun, kind of a fun game to play in with the atmosphere. So that's why we're happy to be in Raleigh.
Picked up by Lovedale for Davidson. Curry, 3, yes! And for the first time in almost 40 years, Davidson has won an NCAA tournament game.
Steph Curry experienced the madness. Well, Thursday he was back in the lineup for the Warriors after missing a game because he was exhausted, according to his coach. Raptors in town. There's Steph. Under 7 minutes left in the third. Warriors down 1. Curry. Oh, nice, sweet move. Curry would make the free throw. Warriors led by 2 later in the third. Warriors down 5. Curry. He'll get hit, and he took a hard fall right on his backside. Take another look. Curry would walk to the locker room under his own power. They called it a pelvic contusion. He would not return to the game. He had 17 points in 25 minutes. Buddy Hield, by the way, he hits a 3. He had 8 points. Warriors up 1. Over 6 minutes left in the fourth. Warriors down 1. Moses Moody. No, but Kevon Looney is there with a tip-in, and the Warriors are up 1. Next Warriors possession, Brandon Podziemski. He had 15 points, and the Warriors had a 3-point lead. Just over 4 minutes left in the fourth, Warriors a 3-point lead. Jonathan Kuminga, he had 16 points, and it's a 5-point Golden State lead. Under 30 seconds left in regulation, Raptors down 3. Jamal Shed and Jimmy Butler with a big block. Butler outstanding, 16 points, 11 boards, 12 assists in this game. The Warriors win it by 3. After, here's Coach Steve Kerr on Steph Curry's injury.
Getting an MRI right now. He just kind of fell pelvic, tailbone area. So he was trying to come back. He thought he might be able to come back, and we just decided not to risk anything. And so
if the season ended today, the Warriors and Lakers would match up in the first round. So I'm asking you, Jay Will, which of these teams is making a deeper run in the playoffs this year?
I mean, healthy LeBron James, I'm going with the Lakers. I'm going to go with the Lakers. Yeah, I am. I love the way Golden State is playing. I like their small ball style. I just think that with LeBron and Luka on the same team, with the way they give hockey assists, I don't think there is a matchup that would be good for Golden State. Not guarding those 2.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying if they run into each other?
No, but I mean, I'm just talking in general. Yeah. Who's going farther?
I'll still take the Lakers.
The Lakers will go farther because the matchups will determine so many of these.
This is that's a tough question because I think I'm leaning the other way a little bit right now. I think it's the hamstring for Bron. Like it's a little bit tentative. I think that the Warriors are going to be as healthy as they have been. Jimmy Butler is a major boost, as the numbers indicate, and that supporting cast is playing with the confidence that they started the season with. I kind of swing the other way on this.
It's going to be interesting to watch. Again, right now, they would match up if they played against each other. The Warriors have to worry about staying out of the play-in. Technically, almost everyone in the West has to worry about staying out of the play-in, so we'll keep an eye on the NBA. Meanwhile, college basketball, this is one of the best days of the entire sporting calendar.
Analysts, I get the idea behind that statement, but this particular year, no, I disagree, because we have all said, outside of the Thunder, what do you expect? Like, what are you confident in coming out of the Western Conference? And so, yes, if you're a 2 seed, you're supposed to be going in, locked in on the task at hand. However, this year, when 6 or 7 could be the Warriors, the Lakers, the Timberwolves even, like, who knows how that's going to play out? And so I think this year, or the Clippers is who I meant to say. This year, I think it's unique. Now, I don't think anybody should fear an opponent because it is obviously there's a psychological element to competition. But I think in the context of this season, if we saw somebody take down the 2 seed with one of those lower seeds, I would not be surprised.
I hear you on the matchup talk, and I think that all makes sense.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring you back to a little athlete thing that we used to say to each other all the time. All you can do is control the controllables, right? Remember how we used to say that all the time?
Yep.
And what's uncontrollable right now is the way all these seeding things are gonna play out over the next 14 games. I don't know.
Yep.
But I do know if I'm the Lakers, I'm chasing that 2 seed. I am avoiding OKC at all costs until we get to the Western Conference Finals. I'm also, depending upon where Denver is, I'm trying to avoid them too. So by securing a 2 seed, getting that home court, I think it's just not home court, it's the 2 seed in home court. To me, I think that gives me the best shot of getting to the NBA Finals. Because I'm not trying to play OKC. And actually, even though I know they beat Denver when the Joker and Jamal Murray were playing, I would try to stay away from that. I would rather have those 2 teams play and we meet the winner of that in the Western Conference Finals.
Got it. Okay.
That's how I would go about it.
All right, so I guess when I answered this question, I assumed they would just play it out. So the matchup is more interesting to me. But I agree. Like, you play.
Get to the 2.
Stephen A?
Here's the deal, y'all. When we think about seedings, ultimately everything comes down to matchup, right? You're a 2 seed, you go against the 7.
Right.
You're 1, you go up against the 8, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, it's one and the same, the seedings, right? What it really comes down to when you're thinking about matchups, first order of business, can you beat a team? If you're the Lakers, not this season, but if you're the Lakers over the previous 2 years or so, the Denver Nuggets are your kryptonite. You should have avoided them last year in the first round. You didn't do that, okay? Knowing that you were ill-equipped to beat them, you should have figured out a way to avoid that particular matchup until you absolutely positively had to. Dallas did it, essentially, until then they ended up getting Minnesota. They thought they were going to have to face Denver, but Minnesota took out Denver in Game 7. All right, so Dallas knew what they was doing when they played that game last year. But here's the thing. If you know that you got a good enough team to win a championship, it really comes down to, could you win a Game 7 on the road? You're asking yourself that question when you're vying for home court advantage, which is what Legs was alluding to and what have you. Could you beat a team in a Game 7 on the road? If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, Oklahoma City is going to be a nightmare no matter what. But especially if you got to go to a Game 7 against them. But they're the number 1 seed. It is what it is. Anybody else, who do you think is going to be tough in a potential Game 7? If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you don't have to worry about that until the conference finals if you're the number 2 seed. If you're Houston or anybody else, you got to think about those things. I'm just saying we have to crystallize what the real question is for the audience out there when you talk about seedings and matchups, okay? Certainly you're thinking about the matchups. But as a part of that matchup situation that you're looking at, you're asking yourself, in a Game 7, if I had to go on the road, who do I have a better chance against? That's how really it goes, seriously. And then to me, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers this particular year, there's no one outside of Oklahoma that you should feel concerned about. If LeBron and Doncic is healthy in the lineup together with a Rui Hachimura back and you're fully loaded, I think the only team the Lakers have to worry about is OKC.
I would agree with you, but don't you think it makes sense if you're talking about probability to you rather have that just against OKC, right? Like, if I don't have to, I'm not trying to face anybody in a potential Game 7 at their place. I'd much rather face them Game 7 in my place.
Of course.
Right. Fair, of course.
So
That's a
I guess the second layer to the question essay then is now we're talking strategy. Because I personally am not one to tinker with losses and all that, because you got, like you said, Jay, to start the conversation, control the controllable. That's win the games that are in front of you and put yourself in the best position possible. But I think we all agree in terms of it coming down to, if you can get the 2 seed, get the 2 seed.
Yeah, of course. If you can get the 2 seed, get the 2 seed. But as you're battling for it, when we bring up the word concern emanates from you potentially being on the road for Game 7. Who is that going to be against?
All right. Meanwhile, tonight they host the Bucks.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người gấp một chú bò cạp cam nha. Mọi người cùng bắt tay vào gấp với mình nhé. Đây là những dụng cụ mình đã chuẩn bị để mình làm nhé mọi người. Mình đã có một cái kéo và một tờ giấy A4 màu cam nha mọi người. Bây giờ mình sẽ gấp chéo tờ giấy lên nha. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ dùng kéo mình cắt nha. Mình sẽ dùng kéo để mình cắt nha. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ gấp đôi tờ giấy lại.